Welcome back to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thank you again for joining us. We are joined by Bob Huff, a member of the California State Senate. I want to thank you, sir, for joining us.
Great to be here.
Very difficult fiscal times in California. In June, a budget was passed. It was a Democratic budget, passed with Democratic votes pursuant to a 50% plus one majority. That being said, that budget indicated that if certain targets were not hit, there'd be automatic cuts mid-year. As it appears, we're heading in that direction. Am I right?
You are right. Yeah, as we've been following this, the controller's numbers are coming out that we're about $706 million under what the revenues were estimated.
Right.
And when you factor that out, it's about $3.5 billion. And then there's also a lot of other risky assumptions that were put into the budget. We had $9 billion of risky assumptions, including the $4 billion of pixie dust they sprinkled over, that just more generous revenues. So in addition to this $3.5 billion that it looks like it's pushed out now, you got another $5 billion of pressure that's working through.
So let's talk about that, because under the budget triggers, I believe about $2 billion would be cut from public education. Right. And that causes no end of pain. We know that our public schools, K through 12, we can start with, have been cut to the bone. And if there are more cuts, we are hearing we will see a shorter school year, we will see furloughs. Democrat, Republican, I can't imagine that's a positive result.
Well, it's not positive. We want our schools to excel, but keep in mind that one of the other tricky little things the legislature did was they made it impossible for schools to let teachers go. So on the one hand, they say we may cut your expenses, but your revenues, but we're not going to let the teachers go, and that's where the biggest chunk of money is for schools.
So what's the answer? I mean, in the final analysis, we have our children in public schools. To cut the school year would cause such a chain of events, to childcare problems, right, to employment problems for the teachers, the janitors, the staff. I mean, it really is a recipe for pain.
Well, that's the conundrum, obviously, that we're faced. So you've got this sword hanging over the state, that's going to automatically get swung down and chopped.
Automatically?
Automatically, because it's, the governor is set up to do this.
And what's interesting, if I may, Senator, is that the Democrats in the legislature had tried to pass a bill at the end of last session to remove the automatic triggers, and the governor vetoed it.
Right.
So, I mean, he's pretty clear that, there's got to be something more than just this kind of let's trust.
Yeah, and my understanding is that the governor is ramping up to do that. Finances, figuring out they're going to have to do the ugly. And so I think what's really going to happen is we get back up there in January, and the cuts will have just been implemented right away. Well, you can't implement cuts, but the direction will be given.
Sure.
I think that we roll into, the governor does the January budget. I think we start solving to fix that problem then, and it just hopefully we're solving the next problem earlier.
What's the fix? I mean, it's been very clear that Republicans in the legislature are not willing to look at new revenues, and no one likes new taxes, new revenues, but if there's not new revenues, what's the fix?
Well, keep in mind, and we've said this before, we gave a path where those, could have gone on the ballot to support these taxes.
Didn't
and at the end of the day, the governor and the Democrats call that off. So it's not fair just to say we wouldn't do the revenues. We just wanted to fix the underlying problem. But on the natural, no, we don't like taxes. We think it's the wrong way approach. We have studies that say, when you're coming out of economic downturn, you do this more by cuts. It's better lasting than, ramping up public spending or any of this other stuff.
What about bona fide tax reform? We know that in California, we rely too heavily on high-income wage earners. Can we look at that?
Well, we need to look at it, but the problem is you're going to have winners and losers. So everybody runs it through their little calculator and say, oh, wait, I'm going to pay $10 more or whatever it is. And then they say, I don't like it. It comes back to Keynes' 999 formula. That probably would be a good thing. On the other hand, you got winners and losers in that. And so they start going out and deconstructing the solution.
Okay, his name is Bob Huff. He's a member of the California State Senate. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you want to watch more editions of Local Edition, go to Time Warner Cable's Video on Demand Channel 1, then hit Local, and then My Government. I'm Brad Pomerance. Back to HLN.